Boy, Beaver, wait till the guys find out you're hanging around with a girl. Boy, they'll really give you the business.
But gee, Wally, you hang around with girls, and the guys don't give you the business.
Well, that's because I'm in high school. You can do a lot of stuff in high school without getting the business.
There they hang out with girls. Boy, such a popular show for generations. Of course, that was Leave It to Beaver, which I believe went off the air about 55 years ago. Doesn't seem like that long ago. Speaking of hanging out with girls, Tony Dow, one of the stars, and his wife of 38 years, Lauren, are both going to be starring
been married that
in
long.
Yes, and I'm going to get into that because I need some. I'm about a year and a half into my marriage. I need some advice from both of you. They're going to be starring in Love Letters at the Katharine Hepburn Cultural Arts Center in Old Saybrook, the Kate, a wonderful little venue, and that is starting on Sunday. Thank you both for being here. A pleasure to meet you,
it's
Tony.
nice to meet you.
A pleasure.
But, you know, you said the show was off the air 55 years. It's never been off the air.
Yeah, it's always
really
been in
hasn't.
syndication
It's
since
always
then.
been in syndication somewhere. And as a matter of fact, I think it's one of the longest, if not the longest running scripted television show outside of, what, Meet the Press or something.
Yes,
like
Meet
that.
the Press generally. And I think last time I saw it was on TV Land, I believe, but I can't remember which stations are on. But either way, I mean, this has allowed some longevity. I imagine there are people who were born far after 1963 that have come up to you and said, "Oh my goodness, it's Wally, how you doing?"
It's always surprising. Yeah, it really is. And but you know, the show still holds up if you have the guts to put it on and tell people that you're watching it.
This is true. Tell me about Love Letters. How did both of you get involved in that, and what can people expect when they go see it?
You want to say something?
Well,
Yes, please.
Tony had done it with a number of actresses. Judy Norton from The Waltons, Joyce DeWitt,
Yeah.
a whole range. But people would say to me, "Why don't you do it?" So I thought, well, I've kind of memorized it by now.
Yeah.
I've seen it so many times. Although, thankfully, we don't have to memorize it. We can read it.
You can read it too.
Anyway, for people who don't know the play, it's a love story about two people who have known each other since second grade or something, and they've kept in touch primarily through letters. And so the audience gets to hear those letters that they've gone through when they've gone through, you know, teenage years, college, their professional year, you know.
And
so
his character loves writing letters.
Yeah.
Very old-fashioned. My character hates it.
yeah, right.
It's just a necessity. Do either of you find any sort of meaning in these readings of the letters?
Yeah, I mean, I find it really, it's really well written. I think it was nominated for a Pulitzer Prize when it first came out. And A.J. Gurney's the writer, and you know, it's really a well-written play. And
It's very touching.
Yeah,
Very touching.
bittersweet.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of you, not necessarily a lot of seats there at the Kate, so you're going to want to go in and get it yourself. Talk to me about being artists. So you're an artist, I guess you're a sculptor as well?
Yeah.
It always amazes me about how people who are talented in one art and can find that they can transfer it to another medium so well. How do both of you do that?
Well,
I'll say he does it very well.
Yeah.
He's
she's great too.
Well,
Anyway, let's quit doing that.
No, come on, tell me about it. This is why I'm asking. You don't have to be
Tony,
modest.
he's not just a sculptor. Well, if you were just a sculptor, there's nothing wrong with that. But he is, oh my God, he builds furniture, he builds houses,
I think people that are creative in all areas.
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
what he was
So
saying.
that's
It's
been a
true.
goal of mine since I was, you know, probably a teenager, that I just wanted to live a creative life. And of course, you have to make an effort to do that because it isn't such a great business to be in necessarily.
But
the film business is. But.
So you're finding that obviously with acting it's all up here, but with sculpting you have to use your hands. I understand it just doesn't transfer. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was a director for the last 15, 16 years of my career in television, and it really does relate because as a director you're dealing with a three-dimensional situation, you know, people, things, and so I visualize scenes in a three-dimensional way, and you visualize your the piece you're working on.
And how? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Do you see these scenes in your sleep? Do you dream them from time to time?
That'd be cool. No.
He doesn't.
Well, yeah.
I
The
do.
generation, is that how you do it? Do they just sort of pop in, or is there some sort of process where you compile bits and pieces and disparate ideas and bring them into a whole? How does it work for you, Lauren?
I think it just happens.
It just happens.
She's very abstract, but when she's working, she's really specific about where she places things, and that's what gears, what she does. When I was writing, that you do in your sleep. You wake up with an idea for a scene and something, and then you kind of go write it down, and But sculpture, not so much.
Not so much.
That's the only time you don't ask me how to spell a word.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't need words.
Lauren, how about you? Sort of transferring, going from being an artist to getting up on stage. Are there any similarities you found between the two at all?
Personally, no.
Okay, well, that's
Not
fine.
really.
How about
Good. That's a good answer.
how about at least working with a familiar subject? As
Well,
opposed
that's yeah. The thing is, we work together a lot. It's
Yeah.
like everything we do, we basically do together.
Not everything, but
Well,
I
not
mean,
everything.
in the stuff around the house, I'll build a foundation for a fountain or a backsplash, and then she does the mosaic work. It's not really mosaic because she uses a lot of rusted metal and crystal and a lot of different materials.
But there is something really special about being able to do this together.
There is.
And there are things about our characters that some people say are very similar to who we are. I don't know, because this poor girl had a lot of problems. And it's a really great
Well, that's
play.
not
Do
so
you
far
like
away
writing
from
letters then? Do you like writing letters? Your character does not.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
she loves
love-
writing, and I
in
hate
real
it.
life, I
So it's
love
what's
writing
backwards.
letters. I'm the one who sends the cards, writes the letters, makes the phone calls.
Okay.
He's busy making his art and playing with our new puppy.
The separation of duties.
Yeah.
Before you go, what's the secret to being married 38 years? I need to know. This is for me as much as anything.
Don't argue. I mean, really,
We really don't.
it doesn't, you don't have to win, So if somebody says something that's not true, or you can bring it up and say, no, that isn't the way it is, and then if a potential argument would start, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. You don't have to be right.
Well, also, it's been said a million times, you have to be friends,
No.
Yeah. I like what you said. You don't have to win. That's the difference between a conversation and a debate. You enter a debate with the idea, I'm going to win, not
Yeah.
to listen to the other ideas. A conversation is how it works. A pleasure meeting you
Hey,
both.
great meeting you.
Again, Sunday at the Katharine Hepburn Cultural Arts Center right there in Old Saybrook. A beautiful little place. Both of you are going to love it, I assure you. Thank you for joining us today, both.
Thank you.